All right, let's get right into it. If you have any plans to fly in the US anytime soon, you are going to want to listen up. We've got a huge announcement from the FAA that could literally ground thousands of flights. And believe it or not, it all comes back to the government shutdown. So let's break this down. So you might be thinking, what in the world does a political fight in Washington, D.C. have to do with my flight from Chicago to Miami? It seems totally disconnected, right? Well, it turns out there's a very direct line, and we're about to show you exactly how it works. The number you need to know is this one, 10%. The Federal Aviation Administration, that's the FAA, is talking about a 10% cut in flight capacity. So just think about it like this. For every 10 flights that we're supposed to take off, one of them is about to get wiped off the schedule. And we're not talking about a few small regional airstrips in the middle of nowhere. Nope, this is happening at 40 of the biggest, most important travel hubs in the entire country. The ripple effect from this is going to be, well, it's going to be huge. Okay, so let's get to the real why behind all of this. It all starts with the government shutdown and the incredible amount of strain it's putting on our air traffic controllers, or ATCs for short. This is really the key to understanding the whole situation. It's like this crazy domino effect, right? First, the shutdown starts, but ATCs are considered essential, so they have to keep coming to work. But then, and here's the kicker, their paychecks stop. That puts a massive financial strain on people. I mean, how do you pay for gas or childcare when you're not getting paid? So naturally, staffing pressures start to build. People are calling out. And finally, with fewer controllers in the tower, the FAA has no choice but to step in for safety's sake and cut the number of planes in the sky. It's a direct cause and effect. And look, this isn't just a theory. You can see it in the data. Before the shutdown, on an average weekend, maybe 8 control facilities would report some kind of potential staffing issue. Since the shutdown, that number has skyrocketed to over 26. It's more than tripled. The system is clearly blinking red. So the FAA is stepping in. But what's really amazing here is that they're doing it before something bad happens. This isn't a reaction to a disaster. It's a proactive move to prevent one. And honestly, for an agency like the FAA, this is a seriously unusual step to take. And if you want to know just how serious this is, just listen to the FAA administrator himself. This is a guy with 35 years in aviation. He's saying he has never, ever seen anything like this. When someone with that kind of experience says something is unprecedented, you know we're in uncharted territory. So this is the official line. Reduce the risk profile. Okay, what does that actually mean in plain English? It means they see the fatigue, they see the staffing shortages, and they are not willing to roll the dice and wait for a mistake. They're reducing the workload to keep the skies safe, even if it means we all face some major inconveniences. All right, now for the part you've probably been waiting for. Which 40 airports are actually going to see these cuts? Well, the list includes some of the biggest names you can think of. Just to give you a sense of the scale here, we are talking about Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta, the busiest airport in the world. We're talking about Chicago's O'Hare, and get this, all 3 major New York City airports, JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark. Pretty much no corner of the country is going to be untouched by this. Okay, here we go. This is the first half of the list. We'll leave it up for a second so you can scan it and see if your local airport is on there. As you can see, it's a coast-to-coast list. And here's the second half. You've got huge international gateways like LAX and SFO, major vacation spots like Orlando and Miami. The impact is absolutely nationwide. Okay, 2 very, very important details here. First, this isn't happening all at once. It's not like flipping a switch. The cuts are going to be phased in gradually. Second, and this is good news for some of you, if you're flying internationally, you should be in the clear. These cuts don't apply to international flights. So that's the what and the why of the situation. Now let's talk about the most important part. What does all this mean for you? And what can you do to prepare for the chaos? All right, here's your game plan. First, that airline app on your phone, it is now your best friend. Check your flight status constantly. Second, just go ahead and expect delays or even outright cancellations. Give yourself way more time at the airport than you think you need. And finally, know your rights. This is a big one because this is such an unusual situation. Some airlines are actually offering full refunds, even on those cheap non-refundable tickets. So make sure you check that out. You know, this whole mess really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? We just assume we can book a flight and everything will work perfectly. But this whole thing kind of pulls back the curtain on this incredibly complex and mostly invisible web of services that makes our daily lives possible. And it just leaves you with a question, right? What other essential services are out there, hidden in plain sight, that we completely take for granted until they're suddenly at risk?